Hello everybody, welcome to another Journal with Me video. In this video I'm going to be working on the week 1 prompts from Junk Journal January 2024. Now this is not my official video for Junk Journal January. I'm part of the group of YouTubers who have, there's a video every day. Each one of us picks one of the prompts and has a special video for that day. This is not my one of these videos. My one is day 22 bookshelf, so look out for that. This is just me on my own playing around with the prompts. Now, if you haven't seen one of my videos like this before, I tend to do these journal prompt monthly challenge thingies just a little bit different. I don't do every prompt, or I very rarely do every prompt. I will look at the list of prompts for that week and choose 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 that really speak to me just in that moment and make journal spreads based on just those few. I don't like to say that I don't have time to do all the prompts, because I feel like that's saying my time is more important than people who are doing all of them. That's not what it is at all. It's just the way I do things. It can also be maybe a little bit less intimidating if you don't want to do every prompt. Find these prompt lists and do them in your own way. Sometimes I will do a page, like a whole page based on a prompt. In this one, I'm kind of mixing and matching and doing 1 or 2, maybe 3 on a page. I go with the flow. I take these prompt ideas and just use them as inspiration to create things in my journal. So the week 1 prompts this year are resolution, quote, throwback, tuck spot, daily log, memory, and stitched. And I will be doing resolution, quote, tuck spot, and stitched. Although you won't really see resolution because that's more some private journaling that I'm not going to show you. But right now I am working on tuck spot. I just created a simple collage in the background of this page, and then pulled out from one of my many drunk drawers this piece of cardstock, which was a printable that had gone wrong, and then at another point I'd had some leftover coloured texture paste for a project, so when that happens I grab a scrap of paper and stencil it on to use it in a future project. So that's what I'm using there for my tuck spot. I am going around the stenciling with my beloved Stabilo All Pencil in brown, and then activating it with a water brush to highlight the stenciling a little bit. I also wanted to add something metallic to this. I tried using my bronze Uniball Signo gel pen, but it didn't feel like working, so instead I'm using this Faber-Castell gold, which is a really lovely, quite muted gold, like not too bright and in your face gold, so I think it works quite well. Now, as always happens, when I sit down to do a voiceover, it's been quiet all day and then noise starts. So my neighbour has just started doing something with power tools, which he does more than I think is normal, and someone in the house is now watching football. So, I'm very sorry about background noises. I promise you it's been quiet for hours. It's just as soon as I start a voiceover, there seems to be an alert around the village. Everybody make noise! Just there, I am adding one of my Regency Lady stickers to the background. I like adding these. One of my favourite sticker and die cut collections that I've done recently. I'm using them all the time, and she's also on top of one of the card flakes from one of the wildflower collections as well. Oh, actually, while I'm thinking about it, those of you who like my stickers, have purchased from my shop, or have been thinking about it, I have another collection of stickers to bring out that's the same as like the Regency and the Edwardian ladies. But which one do you want first? I have Georgian, which is, Georgian, the 1700s, big poofy dresses and tall hair. Or I have Victorian as well, also big poofy dresses, just not quite so much with the hair. Let me know which one you think I should bring out first. They will both come out eventually, but just I can't decide which one to do first. Anyway, here I am making a little tag. Well, it's not really a tag, but a little thing to pull out of the tuck spot that I have created. I punched out one of those little tabs to put up the top, and then there was also this little tiny scrap of burlap that I wanted to include. But it just would not staple down in place. It was refusing. I think maybe because it was so small and delicate. So instead, I took just a little bit of double-sided tape to stick it down, and then put washi over that double-sided tape as well, so it's super extra stuck down. And then I'm just going to do a simple collage to decorate the front of this and add my journaling to the back. And I don't feel like I need to explain that too much, so I'm just going to have a few minutes rest from talking and come back to you in a mo. And I'm back. So that little journaling space I have created, I will add my writing to it a little bit later on, but that's going to be the prompt about resolutions. I'm going to do some journaling about that, but I would prefer to keep that private, so you're not going to see it. I know lots of Instagrammers and YouTubers, you know, share their journaling and stuff. I find it slightly uncomfortable, and I don't quite know why. I think even if I'm writing something like, today I woke up and then I had some cereal and then I fed the cat and then I had a shower. Even if I was writing that, I don't like the idea of people reading it. I don't know why. If you feel the same, let me know. So the next page I'm working on, the next thing is quote. Here I am printing off a little picture for that of the great Ron Swanson, who this quote is from. My nephew taught me this trick on my phone where you can like cut out something on in your gallery on your iPhone, like without the need for Photoshop, which I do know how to use, but this is way quicker. Don't ask me to tell you how to do it because I don't fully know. I just kind of keep tapping the thing until something happens. Oh my goodness, I'm getting so old. I used to understand technical things and now my nephew has to explain things to me. Oh, it's really depressing. Anyways, I printed out a couple of options. I'm using my Memo thermal printer for this. Because it prints in black and white, I felt like that first picture I printed out looks a little bit like a what do you call it, like a convict image, like your police photo. So decided not to use that one. Ron Swanson, if you don't know, is a character from Parks and Recreation, which is one of my favourite things of all time. It's my ultimate comfort show. I watch the whole thing, all 7 series, at least 3 times a year. I love it. And Ron Swanson he's the best character. There's no argument. He's the best, played by the great Nick Offerman. And at one point, he gives another character some very sage advice of never half-ass 2 things, whole ass 1 thing. And even though it's obviously like meant to be funny, it's also quite poignant, and I do need to apply it to my life a little bit more. So I thought I would include it for the quote prompt. And often in this journal, because this journal has like a woodland fantasy theme, I'm always wanting to put quotes in from like Tolkien and other fantasy authors. So I thought I would lighten it up a little bit with that. Also, as a British person, I just want to say it was incredibly difficult for me just then to say ass instead of arse, because ass to me is the donkey thing, but that's how Ron says it, and it would sound weird if you said it in the British way. Anyway, adding a little sticker of Ron there. I have 2 more to use in my journal at some other point, and just a simple bit of deco down the bottom because the way I'd done it, it wasn't completely centered, so having that thing down at the bottom just balances it a bit better. And that washi tape I put down is a Tim Holtz one, which has like quite like old Americana adverts and stuff, and I feel like Ron would approve of that. On the reverse of that, I'm not going to add anything because it was done on vellum. If I put anything behind it, it's going to ruin the whole effect. Just a little bit of washi tape to hide the double-sided tape that was on the other side. That's it. I was skipping some pages there because those are the pages I did for my day 22 prompt of bookshelf, and I can't show them to you yet, but I'm very excited to show you when the day comes. So for this last page, I am taking the stitched prompt and thought I would do some paper stitching, which I used to do all the time when I was scrapbooking, and I don't do it so much anymore, and I would like to do it a bit more. So I have grabbed a scrap of card, some pattern card, very lightly with pencil done the shapes that I want to stitch. I'm doing the numbers 2024. Then with a foam mat underneath so I don't damage my desk, and a Tim Holtz pokey tool, or an awl will do, add the holes for stitching. I do them probably about 1/4 of an inch apart, maybe a little bit less. And then I'm ready to stitch. I'm taking some embroidery silk, embroidery thread, whatever you call it, in this kind of mustardy gold colour, which I thought matched well with the page and is a colour I would usually never use. And I've said this before, I'm trying to get out of my colour comfort zone a bit more, so that's why I chose that. And I am going to do a chain stitch. Oh, I split the thread as well from 6 strands into 3, and yes, do a running chain stitch to kind of make the stitching a little bit more bulky and standing out more than if I did a simple back stitch. Now to do a chain stitch, I am by no means an embroiderer. If you want to know, then go find a tutorial please, because I really am just making it up as I go along. But with the I can't talk. Chain stitch, you want to go back through the hole that you've just come out of, creating a little loop, and then coming back through and catching that loop as you come back up again. I know I haven't explained it that well, but I don't know the terms for embroidery. You can hopefully kind of see roughly what I'm doing. And yeah, so I just do that through all the holes that I have created. On the back, I don't create knots to keep the thread in place. I use washi to stick it down, partly because I'm lazy, but also it helps create less bulk if you're adding it into a journal. And I'm also going to use this as a tip in, so I wanted to put something on the back of it, so the little knots at the back would have made it just a little bit awkward and bumpy. This is some pretty packaging that I'm using to back this. I don't know why I didn't pay more attention and stick it down in a way that the whole flower would be on the back. I was probably listening intently to my podcast or something, and as I said, not paying enough attention, so the flower does get partially decapitated, but I don't really care that much. And also I stuck it down a little bit wonky, so I am using my distress tool and some distress oxide to hide my sins. I have to do that for pretty much everything I do. I could not live without these products. And then I fancied some more stitching, so I have gathered some scraps of fabric and some ribbon and trim, and I am going to stitch them together and also stitch that tip-in piece into that. I didn't film that, you can see it's done there, because I took it over to my sewing machine. The lighting's not very good over there, and if I'm completely honest, it is still absolutely surrounded by Christmas stuff, and I'm a little bit embarrassed about that, so that's why I didn't film it. I also think it might have looked a little bit better had I stitched it with a darker thread, like a black or a brown, but I don't have a brown and I'm pretty much out of black for my sewing machine, so it had to be white. I used a very chunky piece of red line to stick that down, and also I go over it over the tape before I peel the backing off with a bone folder. If it's on a material like fabric or something just that can be a bit of a pain to stick down, if you push it down with a bone folder, it just tends to stick better and it makes it easier to peel off the backing. Behind that on the page, I'm adding this little scrap. This is from last year's planner inserts, where it has, you know, when you get Filofax inserts, you'll get a page that has the year at a glance on it, and then we'll have the next year. So I've taken that, I've just ripped it around to the shape I want. Messed it up a bit by scrunching it up and going around the edges, as I do with pretty much everything. And I'm not going to add huge amounts of decoration to the background, just a few bits here and there. This pretty vellum piece had fallen out of something and was sitting on my desk, so I thought I'd throw that one on. That's me getting angry with my tape runner, because it's done that thing where the tape comes all loose. And this is one of those ones, it's like a mini one, so you can't access the mechanism to turn the tape back in. You know, like how you would do with a pencil and an old cassette tape. If you're over the age of 25 and know what I'm talking about, you can do that sometimes with glue runners, but those ones you can't, and I got annoyed with it. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but here we are. But yeah, all I will do is add a few simple stickers and bits and pieces. I had this acetate butterfly that was left over from a project, or I didn't use it in a project or whatever. Going to fussy cut that and add that on. This sticker, usually I don't mind a white border, because either I don't mind the white border or I can cover it with an ink and help it blend in. But these stickers are almost like a vinyl sticker, so if you put ink on it, it just rubs off. So I do cut the white borders off of these ones. To stick down the acetate butterfly, I just add a tiny piece of red line tape in the middle of the butterfly, so it's not too obvious. You can't really see the adhesive underneath. I did not like the way that I stuck down that key sticker, so I very carefully pulled it back up again to re-stick it down. That did rip a piece of it, but I don't really care that much. And then what else am I going to do? Sometimes with those stickers, the washi style stickers, I will take a bone folder and push them down a little bit so they're even more transparent. It just helps a bit. And then I'm going to add another one of my Regency ladies. I was struggling with the sticker sheet because that's one of the miscut sheets that I keep for myself. Oh, I just had to last minute cut out a bit of footage, because as I snipped the excess of that sticker off of that little Regency lady, I showed you all of my Day 22 project. Whoopsie. Here I'm adding some of these Art by Marlene, like quote and phrase stickers. I love these so much. I love them partially because you get a mix of like nice phrases, but then also kind of snarky ones, and each one you get in white and black and craft, so flipping brilliant. I love them so much. And then I will, of course, take my trusty Stabilo All pencil and go around a few things to help them just blend in and add a bit more texture and depth to the pages. And oh, and then I'm going to use it on this front piece as well. One of my favourite things that I have for journaling. And I think once I have done that, that is going to be it. So there we go. Thank you so much for watching. As I said, keep an eye out for my day 22 video. Hopefully I will get other videos done for weekly prompts, but I can't promise anything because you never know how things are going to go. I will, however, link information about Junk Journal January if you are interested, if you want access to the prompt list, if you haven't seen it already. There is also the playlist of all the official videos for the month, and I'll link that as well so you can see what other people did with these prompts. And yeah, okay, that is going to be it. Thank you again so much for watching. Please leave this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and chat to me in the comments. And yeah, okay, I'm going. Thank you again. Bye bye!